If you've ever made a game, you probably know that the first thing you do is creating the player movement. Let me tell you how we had to scrap all of our player movement code and start over again, so you don't have to make the same mistake. For any small project, the movement code might look something just like that. One big script that handles all the actions that the player is able to perform. And this is fine for smaller games because it works, till it doesn't. Because the project becomes too big with too many conditions. And after that point, you have to create a state machine. A state machine, for those of you who don't know, is a web that contains all the states a game object can be in. For a player, this would be idle, run, and so on. And since all of this is the base of a game, it is important that this code is easy to work with, so you don't have to fight it as the project grows in size. The problem is that all solutions that I've found till now lead to an absolute mess. The smartest thing to do now is probably to start again. Let's see what we can come up with. With that all said, welcome back to a new devlog on Adventures Eve, the action side-scroller game Tycho and me are currently working on. If you haven't already, subscribe and let us know in the comments how you handle player input and movement systems in your game. Let's continue. After some failed attempts, I came up with a system now that is easily scalable and quite straightforward. The major difference to conventional state machines is that not the core is deciding on which state should be active, but rather each state for itself. All that's left to do now is to create the necessary states. Okay, after some struggling, I finally got everything working. In the meantime, Tycho worked on the scene of the boss battle that we want to get playable as soon as possible for an upcoming demo, so stay tuned for that. With this goal in mind, I'm currently learning how to use Tiled, a tile map editor that lets you easily create tile-based game levels. It's kinda confusing, but I'm starting to wrap my head around it. The next thing that I want to do is improving the feel of the platforming. I want to add a wall climb where you can cling to a platform and pull yourself up. This mechanic is important that the platforms can be further apart so the space between them can be higher. Look at this, it really feels amazing. You can jump to higher platforms and do something kind of like a wall jump between platforms. Even the sign of the tavern building has a function now. You can finally climb up there. As you might be able to tell, I'm really happy with this, and honestly I would have probably not been able to do it without Tiled. It is so easy to add hitboxes to tile sets and import them into Unity. So if you're working on a 2D game as well, I would highly recommend you checking it out. And then, as I wanted to export the project to get some footage, the game suddenly broke. It spat out this weirdly formatted UI on black background and I had no idea where it was coming from. After some experimenting, I realized that it was a problem connected to resolutions, and after what felt like hours clicking random checkboxes in the hope to accidentally fix the issue, I finally found a solution. By changing the full screen mode in the player settings to exclusive full screen, I have no idea why, but it works. So, if you were ever to come across the same problem, you're welcome. If you watched the last video, did you? Then you might remember the animation tool I showed you. Well, I did some more work on this as well. You can now change single frames directly in the window, as well as select and edit hitboxes. Another cool addition is the button that lets you apply one hitbox to all the frames. The tool is not finished, but it already feels so intuitive to use. I will make a dedicated video about this topic, so if you are interested, this might be something for you. And with that, I thank you for watching. If you want to check out my last devlog, you will find it on the screen right now. There you can learn more about the animation tool I just mentioned. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time.